Innovations is my new software. This website is going to be live on Friday and stuff with that. But just got our first look at our Neo website that way. But nice thing is my team has been working on it for months, so they've seen it. I just see it for the first time. I don't really need to see anything till the end because I know my team does such an amazing job with everything that way. So Neo Innovations will be live as far as our website coming up here pretty quick. Our software has been doing absolutely incredible, amazing, great stuff. So I'm going to start out with our business question because people are saying, how did you build such two big, massive companies? Even though I own a ton of companies, it's just two massive ones involved in the things that I do. I would tell people this. It's really simple. Your greatest asset is people, and your greatest problem is people. Just remember that. And I can honestly tell you the greatest thing that I ever learned was that people are not born great. Yes, there's people that have God-given skills. There's talents and things like that I believe that every one of us has. But talent is not enough to make you succeed in life. Sometimes riding on just your talents alone, you think you're better than you are, and you'll never really accomplish anything because you don't develop those talents and don't work on them daily. And so therefore, great people are developed, great people are not born. This concept of a born leader makes no sense to me whatsoever because most everyone, you guys, if not 99.999% of you, were pains in the asses at 2-year-old if I talk to your parents and stuff. Even all 4 of my daughters who have greatness, they were pains in the asses, okay? And guess what happens? You're not, it's if they develop themselves. As a parent, it's our job to find their greatness and pull out of them. And God gives each one of them great talents. But the idea is this, is to think that you're born great. No, you can be born with some. And most of the time, people like to, talk a lot about athletes because they have a specific, physical skill. Great. That'll give them a couple of years of some things. And for the very short amount of time that they have the opportunity, great, take advantage of it, make lots of money. But eventually even Michael Jordan will not be able to do what he did and stuff like that. So it's but greatness can be developed over time with consistency and development that way. So I'll tell you, that's why I'm so big into leadership. And leadership is just influence. That's all it is. People will actually say, I want to be a social media influencer. I'm like, okay, so that's just leadership skills. What do you have out there besides that's not entertainment? Remember, there's only 2 ways that you can actually succeed online is either through leadership and education or entertainment. I'm definitely not an entertainer. People say, well, Doc, I've seen your seminar. You are highly entertaining. Yes, actually, people think I'm actually more aggressive when I'm just doing talks like this. In my seminar, I'm funny as hell. It's because there's an entertainment part of it that has to go with the educational part of it that way. Otherwise, it's extremely boring. A lot of educational things are extremely boring. My seminar is highly entertaining, but highly emotional. That's why I can make you laugh and make you cry within 2 minutes. But that's once again, I wasn't born that way. I wasn't born going, hey, I disagree. It's something that I developed and stuff with great leadership principles. So that being said, we have our leadership, our prices are about to go up on March 1st. We have a Leadership and Longevity Conference. Go to www.leadershipandlongevity.com. We have amazing leadership speakers coming from John Maxwell's people to other wonderful leadership people. And then we have longevity people coming because obviously health and longevity is one of my major businesses that I built, which is the Wellness Way and the clinics and everything we have across the country. So it's kind of cool. So guys, go to leadershipandlongevity.com. Let me pull it up here. I'll see if I can pull it up here. www.leadership. There we go. Leadership. Oh my goodness, usually it pops up. Leadership and don't put a space and longevity.com. There we are. Here's a website for that. May 2nd and 3rd here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Don't forget to come. It's an in-person event. Now, if you do want to watch it online, you can. It's just a lot more expensive ticket that way. Tickets, once again, are $100 for a 2-day event, including food. Do you say that's crazy? And then $275 online right now. So you can do that. Tickets are going to go up to $150 here pretty soon, March 1st, and then you can go from there. So, all right, Trinity, Hunter, we have you guys today. What do we have for questions coming on, or did you get it fixed? Here we go. What do we got?
Is fermented cod liver oil better for you than regular cod liver oil?
Anything fermented is better. Anything fermented is better. It just is. Fermentation adds so many digestive properties from microbial to how the food's already pre-digestion, because once it's fermented, it's actually partially digested for you. And therefore there's actually more nutrients when you can ferment something, because you'll produce more B vitamins later in your lower intestinal tract. So I'm a big fan of fermented foods. So if you can ferment anything, so is fermented cod liver oil better than cod liver oil? Yes, I believe it personally is. What we got next?
What do you recommend for migraines?
What do I recommend for migraines? Okay, I'm getting that question a lot, so therefore I'm gonna have to make a video on this. But when you look at migraines, there's several properties because they can stem from different things. Number one, can there be a structural skeletal muscle issue? Yes, there can. That's why some people will get physical therapy, some people get chiropractic, some people get acupuncture, some people will get, other modalities that bring down the skeletal muscular part of it that way. Second, there could be a hormonal issue. That's why women sometimes will get them wrong certain parts of their cycle. Therefore, there's probably hormonal deficiencies, or hormonal excess is more common to have hormonal deficiencies lead to them. Third of all, there could be some toxic inflammatory event. There could be something that you are consuming on a regular basis that could be inflammatory. There's something that could be legitimately have some other, excitatory processed chemical, MSG, something like that can be a trigger to them. There's multiple factors, and you really have to find somebody that's going to dig for them. You can't just everybody go to chiropractic and adjust and make it go away. You can't just eat better and go away. There's much more detail to looking into it to see what's really going on.
My 7-year-old has been extremely tired for the last 3 weeks. Sleeps until 10 a.m., naps any chance he gets. What can I do for this?
Support it because he might be coming in contact with different, things at school. There's obviously, people that are dealing with a lot of viruses right now. Now, what I would do is look at things like cordyceps, which is going to be not only good for his immune system, but it's going to help with him energy-wise. I'd be giving him elderberry. I'd be giving him turkey tail, things to support his immune response, because the immune system, when it's challenged, is very metabolically expensive. That's why I've ever noticed somebody gets a cold, they don't feel like going for a run. And that's why when your immune system is being, let's say used, but let's just say something enters your body that's got a rid from self to non-self, it's very metabolic expensive. It takes a lot of ATP. That's why your body, once again, kind of shuts down and preserves its energy to be able to go after, bacterial, viral, or parasitic things that need to be removed from your body.
Can type 2 diabetes be reversed?
That can be reversed because the vast majority, if not 100% of it, is actually lifestyle related. And so therefore it's something that you can control. It doesn't mean it's easy. Nothing's easy, guys. Remember, pick your heart. You can either have diabetes and cause some major neurological and other issues because type 2 diabetes, there's a lot of oxidative stress that does happen. That's why there's a lot of neuropathies and other damaged things that happen when you have high blood sugar for a long period of time. So it's very hard because food can be very addictive and very emotional. I think food is the most emotional thing that we do by far, so that's why it's very hard to give up. It's very hard to give up the emotional eating. It's sometimes the easiest stress reliever just because there's a lot of people that abuse things because they're emotionally satisfying. That's why people abuse alcohol, abuse drugs, abuse sex, abuse food. They're all things that try to manage our emotions, and people can more justify doing their foods because there's really no harm to somebody else, but eventually it can harm you. So therefore you need to actually get that under control. And it's difficult. Absolutely it's difficult. It's extremely hard.
How are your deviated septum adjustments going?
Very good. Dr. Bryce is doing a fantastic job. I can tell that there's already a change. I cannot wait. In summer, I'm going to get the scan done again. And nice thing, it's a per novo scan. It's just basically a full body MRI. You sit in the MRI for an hour. I was very happy with my first MRI because I just found a deviated septum. They saw my degeneration in my C5, which is in my cervical spine and my neck. And there was one other injury that I got in wrestling when I was in high school that I still deal with. That's why if I ever get a headache, it's because I have a structural irritation. Maybe I'll work out a little too hard. Maybe I'll, look down too much. Maybe I'll do things that irritate my neck and that can trigger a headache a little bit that way. But then I get adjusted and do some other musculoskeletal things and it does relieve it. But I cannot wait to see that change because I can already tell a change in many things.
Just diagnosed with yeast overgrowth. What can I do to get it under control?
It depends where it's at. If obviously digestively, I would make sure that you're doing things to not feed it. So try to reduce your overall high glucose-based foods. So keep on a lower glycemic diet. Then what I do is I actually make sure that I have a significant amount of betaine hydrochloride, so hydrochloride within your stomach. So take some betaine hydrochloride. Make sure that if it's a female and she's doing a vaginal yeast infection, I would be applying coconut oil, which has lauric acid, which is really good at trying to control it, and also apply apple cider vinegar vaginally to change the pH and make it a little bit more acidic and have a better chance of actually getting rid of the yeast infection.
Can you address frozen shoulder?
Yeah, it's a long-term injury that now leads to a reduction in range of motion. And if you've gotten to the point of frozen shoulder, you can start by trying to hang, legitimately grab something and use your body weight and try to see if you can get that range of motion back. If not, you have to go for surgery, and actually they will put you under and they will tear the scar tissue and get that thing range of motion back that way and start some rehab. But there's a good book out there by a very well-known orthopedic surgeon who said that the vast majority of shoulder injuries and prevention is actually hanging. I do that every single day, just using your body weight. Legitimately grab something above your head and allow it to hang. I've had patients, I've taught them for 26 years. Remember, I didn't come up with it, this orthopedic surgeon did. And when I read his book, it made complete sense, knowing the structure of the body and how the shoulder, the mechanisms and all the things pull together to work, that hanging is a really good thing that everybody should do for good long-term shoulder health. I'm really happy I've never had any shoulder issues to deal with that way. And I have full range of motion and full flexibility on my shoulders, so it's kind of nice.
Every time I take ashwagandha, it makes me pretty tired. Why is that? I seem to do better with California poppy.
Well, you're working on two different mechanisms. California poppy is probably the second most thing I gave out ever in history because of the calming and sedative effect as to the neurology, but it actually doesn't really affect your energy levels. Ashwagandha, if needed be, it's a wonderful adaptation for the adrenals, and therefore it's trying to put you maybe a little bit more into a sedative state, and so therefore stick with California poppy. It's fantastic for you.
Is there a way to avoid high lipase breast milk?
High what?
High lipase.
High lipase breast milk?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it, but because lipase is an enzyme that your body makes mainly by your pancreas, and usually if high lipase is there, so I've never heard of high lipase breast milk. So do me a favor, please email me at pflynn@thewellnessway.com. I'll look up what you're talking about, but that's the first time I've ever had that question. So, and once, guys, I want to make it very clear. I'm never going to give you an answer to something I don't have some clinical experience on, but if I can look it up and learn something, I love reading. I read journals every single day. It's not a joke. I literally read journals every day. I love research, and I like to see what's out there. And so therefore, if you have a personal question for me, you don't want to put it on here, email me at pflynn@thewellnessway.com. I legitimately am emailing this woman right now. We've been emailing back and forth, and I'll keep her name private. But she works out a lot, and she's 41, and she has some things going on that way, and then found a little bit more detail about her that way, and gave her a little bit more guidance on there, and then she works out a lot, so I'm like, her protein intake is way too low, and then also there's a couple things that I can't email her, so I'm actually going to give her just a call, no charge, just give her a call and talk to her for a second that way, and go from there. So someone emailed a question. And here we go. I want to email it. So it said, if you don't want to, I remember this person's name will not be said. I just want to read her question. I have a problem. I have no desire to poop. I eat healthy, train regularly, and try to drink water. I can go for a week without feeling the urge to poop. Please advise. I need help. Okay. Thank you for the question. I appreciate that. For sharing something very, very detailed and very personal. I'm a little concerned about the, obviously the transition time from eating to leaving. Now, once again, you do work out regularly, so you're going to obviously try to consume those things, but you will always have waste product that way. I would start putting things into your body that will help. I do like fiber-based things. I also like to see you maybe add a little bit of psyllium husk, because if you do work out, you probably do some shake. I do like psyllium husk. I like it a lot, actually. It can be put in breads a lot, which makes breads even better for you. But then also, I'd like you to do some magnesium citrate. and some potassium citrate and some aloe juice. So magnesium citrate would be number one, potassium citrate would be number two, and then some aloe juice, not aloe gel. Aloe gel is like a snot, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to do that. You want to do aloe juice. And then you should see an increase of bowel movements, and start with that.
What can someone take for ADHD?
Nothing. I don't think that you should take anything for ADHD. I think you should spend a little more time investigating some things. Therefore, and I usually, when I had a person that was diagnosed with ADHD, if they wouldn't change their diet and reduce their sugar dramatically, I wouldn't even try to give them any other advice. Just because there are very excitatory things for the brain. You can take stimulants that can be very excitatory, and I want them removed before I can do anything with you to actually help. So therefore, reduce your sugar consumption as much as possible. Go to more high fiber-based carbohydrates, good proteins. Now, therefore, that being said, when you start to change that, you're going to see a change in focus and concentration and hyperactivity. And therefore, if you do have other hormonal issues that can contribute to that, I would start with some California poppy, which once again, there you go, some California poppy actually has a major benefit to the brain and neurological system. So therefore, what I want you to do is spend the time investigating the triggers that could cause the hyperactivity, which always stems from diet, number one. And then if there's any immunological aspects, you can dig for those. And then what I want you to do is actually you can help the brain, supports calming neurotransmitters with California poppy, put it more in a sedative state that does without making you tired through the day.
What are your thoughts on semaglutide? Is it effective? Is it effective for some people?
Remember, drugs are effective for everybody. The sad part is this, but there's positive and negative effects. And so therefore, that's why you're seeing, because due to such a mass quantity, you're seeing some pretty significant amount of side effects come out. And you gotta remember what you want to accomplish. You know, if you're 350 pounds and you take a medication to get down to 200, there's benefits to going from 350 to 200. There are massive benefits. And so I see why people do it. But you also gotta remember, there are also consequences. So what people should say is this. When you look at any medication, medications are the easy way out. But there's major consequences. Now, not using medications, there will probably be a slower response, tougher, but just less side effects. A lot less, and more long-standing. Most people that do semaglutides usually gain it back once they stop because the behavior hasn't changed and totally understand it. So you always got to look at the risk-benefit ratio on anything that you do. So if you use anything to get down from 350 pounds to 200, I think it's a very beneficial thing. As long as there's no surgery, I think that's going to be too long-term damage. But you also got to remember, there's consequences to, staying 300 pounds. There's consequences of trying to lose it very quickly with some medication. And you just got to take those risks if you want to. I'm never going to tell people what to do. I'm just telling you this way. The easiest route is never the long-term route, and the easiest route is never the most benefit. If you're a guy, I would tell you this. Guys have to have a hard life. Women have to know that life is hard. Because we should take the burden for most things. Guys that avoid hard things, this is going to sound very derogatory. I never want to be around a man that won't take on hard things. If I see a guy take the easy way out in things, I won't even be friends with you. I can't. You're not even a man to me, for one thing. Because we are meant to run. I would tell you my favorite biblical story, which I live my life by. I love it. And that's why a lot of people think I'm an asshole, which I love being an asshole. I'm supposed to be. I'm a man. Do you say my daughters and wife are supposed to be sweet, not me. I'm not sugar and spice and everything nice. Do you understand? I'm the person that's going to flip the fucking table. But here's what happens. My favorite biblical story by far is about David and Goliath, but not what you think, because everybody thinks they're the little guy and stuff like that. It's like, do me a favor, guys. Entertain me for a second. Entertain me for a second and give me a thumbs up on this if you believe this is you. Do you believe that you're the black sheep of your family? If you do, give me a thumbs up, okay? Now I'm gonna burst your bubble in a second, but if you do believe that, give me a thumbs up in the comments, and I'm gonna wait a second, take a sip of my Machu Picchu, my lunch. If you think you're the black sheep of your family, give me a thumbs up. Now let me burst your bubble. Everybody thinks they're the black sheep of the family. And everybody has to be the black sheep because nobody's the same. I don't want to be the same. I want all four of my daughters to be very different from their sisters. Faith is different than Trinity. Trinity's different than Faith. Faith is different than Calista. Calista is different than Faith. Trinity and Calista are not the same. Trinity and Felicity are not the same, even though they have the same parents, the same DNA. But they're dramatically different. God never created anybody the same. So this concept that all the family is the same. No. There's principles that can bring cultures and families together. And that we're extremely united. And actually the whole Flynn family is. And I'm not even talking to my mother, my cousins, and that's why you see them around here, because it's based on a cultural thing. But here's what happens. When it comes to men in general, I always tell my favorite story I live my life by is David and Goliath, but not the aspect that Goliath got beat by David. The aspect that when all of a sudden David showed up and he's been preparing, and he killed the lion, he killed the bear when they went after sheep and things like that. And then all of a sudden, but guess what happens? Then he was a delivery boy one day. So if you're not doing big things right now, understand, David was a delivery boy that day. Do you get that? David was a delivery boy. His brothers were at war. And the father was like, go take him some food. So he was the pizza delivery boy that day. Think about it. Now, once again, manna delivery, okay? That was his name, okay? But the idea is that, so he's a pizza delivery boy that day. He goes there. He sees his king. He sees his culture. He sees the people that he's supposed to lead someday be disrespected by this monster across the field. And they're just sitting over there yelling and screaming. It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans, if you think about it this way. I think they're both idiots, just to let you guys know. As far as the parties, I'm not a party person. Even though people think I'm more Republican, no, I'm not. I'm actually for civil liberties. If that happens to be a Republican issue right now, great, but I will never identify myself as a Republican ever. I think they're ridiculous. I'm not a party person. But all of a sudden, they're over there screaming and yelling. It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans right now. Democrats sitting there going, Doge is doing horrible things. Finding fraud? Are you really that dumb? Okay. So therefore, here happens. And then Goliath says, send one person over, and whoever wins the tribe and stuff like that way. And then David comes along and is like, who is this fucking idiot? Who is this idiot disrespecting us? And all of the king and a bunch of the warriors, or we can't even call them warriors, the people at war, were like, scared. And once again, big deal, we're all scared. Do you think that I'm not scared taking on some shit I take on? My goodness. I mean, fear is just, most of it's mental anyways, but here's what happens. So he walks up and says, dude, king, let me go whoop his ass. And the king's like, no, and people, the brother's like, shut up. Man, do you know how many times I've heard from people to be quiet and shut up? A ton. But I'm still not my favorite part of the story. Still not my favorite part, hanging there with me. So all of a sudden, he goes to the king, and the king's like, dude, let me go after him. And all of a sudden, it's kind of funny. King's like, you know something? If they kill him, maybe it'll get us all riled up, and we'll go over and take him over that way. So King almost sent him out for a sacrifice. And it's kind of funny. So then David's like, picks up some rocks, and what does he do? And this is the best part of the story. He runs towards Goliath. He runs towards conflict. He goes after the biggest man in the room. You know what I'm saying? The biggest man. He runs towards him. He doesn't wait. He doesn't call him on. He doesn't tell him to this. He runs towards them. And I think that's what men have to do today. If there's conflict, you run towards it. You know what I'm saying? You go for it, and it's like, don't sit back and wait. I'm telling you right now, people say, Doc, how have you made so much money? How have you had influence? Because I run towards conflict. I look for it. I look to fight every day. And to me, that's the greatest thing as a man you could do and stuff, is like, because then you pick a hard thing every single day and you run towards it, life's pretty good. My favorite biblical story.
What do you recommend for skin as glowing as yours?
Who is that? Who asked that question?
I think it was actually the person that emailed you, because they put the question in here.
Okay, who emailed me?
beforehand. It's entirely possible.
Sorry you responded to my question about not being in poop, but I didn't. Oh, get the recommendation. Oh, okay. Was that the person that okay.
I'm not entirely
recommendation
sure,
is magnesium citrate, potassium citrate, and aloe juice. Eat psyllium husk on a regular basis, or you can even take it as a supplement. but magnesium citrate, potassium citrate, algal juice, and psyllium husk. So yes, great job for the person who just asked me email again. Guys, listen, I'm not joking. I will literally read all your emails I possibly can, and we get a lot of them that way. And so was that the person?
I don't know if the name's the same.
What's the name of that? I won't tell them regardless.
Evodia Dacif?
Avodia. It's Avodia, you said?
Well, I think
The
it's
ask
Evodia.
the skin one?
Yeah.
Okay, Avodia, here, let's do this. Skin must be fed from the inside. That's why I do love fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids. That's why I like specific proteins. That's why I like sauerkraut, because the high vitamin C, it gives great collagen. But I also feed my skin. Avodia, is it, you said?
I think so.
Okay, you do me a favor, young lady. Send me a message, and I will and send me your address, because I'm going to send you one of our beef tail skincare. Yes, I do put things on my skin every single day. I put beef tallow on my skin. I put coconut oil on my skin. I put castor oil on my skin. But I will tell you, my favorite thing is beef tallow. So as you can see, I'm rubbing some on my, yes, and I do have nice skin. I really do. If you have good skin, you do look younger. I am 103 years old and stuff like that. So I'm just kidding. I am 50 though. But I'm really big about skin. I'm really about skincare and stuff like that. So I love skincare. So I will send you a free bottle of our skin line and stuff. And just so you guys know, we are going to be discontinuing the Wellness Way skin line, because I'm now part of the company itself. It's called True, and our brand True. So when we get rid of the Wellness Way ones, you'll get the same product. I'm now becoming part owner of the company itself, because I believe in the company so much. And then True is going to be another Wellness Way company that we partnered with, and actually I'm going to be part owner of the company. And then it's going to be in every office, all those things. We're going to have so many awesome skincare line products. It's going to be amazing. So I'm excited about, and you're just not going to be labeled Wellness Way anymore. It's going to be labeled True, but it's the same ingredients on the same product on the inside. So Avodia, send me your address, and I'm going to send you a free thing for the nice compliment. Yes, you can shower with the compliments, and you guys win like crazy and stuff like that. So yes, so having fun with that. All right, so yes. So now, feed your skin on the inside, good fatty acids, vitamin C, because remember, vitamin C is one of the major producers of collagen. Then feed it from the outside. Beef tallow is my favorite. Coconut oil, castor oil, things that bring hydration to the skin. And so you want to feed it from the inside and feed it from the outside.
Can you take Neo 40 if you have low blood pressure and POTS symptoms?
Yes, you can. Actually, I encourage you massively, especially with the POTS syndrome, because nitric oxide is going to help dramatically. So, Hunter, go get our Neo 40 and stuff like that. So me and Hunter take Neo 40 every time I'm here. Well, I take it regularly, but I haven't taken it yet today because of fasting and stuff like that. So I said, yeah, and it's been awesome. So Neo 40 is one of my favorite products. There's another one. I partner with Neo 40. Nathan Bryant is the nitric oxide expert of the world. He's absolutely genius. Go look him up. Dr. Nathan Bryant, he's a PhD. He's not a chiropractor. He's a wonderful medical doctor that actually has a wonderful PhD in science and stuff, and he produces even drugs for a living. He does. Very decent, good friend of mine. Oh, there we go. And then we go from there. So, up.
Can cat's claw help with Hashimoto's?
Never equate some herb with a condition. If you have a microbial problem, and cat's claw is a good way of actually affecting it, and that's one of the immune triggers, you might have some positive benefit, but the correlation is secondary. It's more of the immune factor. Here, go, Hunter. Neo 40. You got one? Oh, good. But never correlate some herb with some condition. Look at their process of helping a system in the body or affecting the microbial, but not related to the condition itself. Wait, live question and answer. I'm on your live. I have 2 questions I listed. All right, here we go. Number 1, dry scalp. I've been suffering for this for several months. My doctor recommended coconut oil. Hey, I like that. I like that you recommended coconut oil. Good job, doctor. Your assistant recommended comprehensive testing. My skin has been good, very dry. My skin has not been good. It's been very dry. Okay, whenever you look at dry skin, once again, you got to maintain that there's some internal problem first. Vitamin A deficiency, vitamin D deficiency. You could have an immune reaction that's leading to a skin issue that's there. That's why they'll want to do some testing because a lot of skin issues are actually immune issues. That's why you see psoriasis, eczema. But dry skin deficiencies are very common, vitamin, and also hydration. Hydration is very important. That's why when you put like coconut oil or beef tallow outside, or castor oil holds hydration in there, which does help dramatically. But there's usually some vitamin A and vitamin D deficiency that is one of the biggest contributors to just dry skin alone and hydration. Number 2, I have a mammogram scheduled for this week. I do not want to do it. What do you recommend? Well, always remember this, is, here's a little history. Okay, I don't want to read your history on here because keep that private. But here's what happens. Whenever you look at mammograms, once again, I just had a video, once again, go viral because I talked about anybody that I cared about, I would just be like, there's so many better options. Now, I'm going to do a video just on the better options. And do not equate thermography with mammograms. I hate that the natural world does that. Thermography looks at something extremely different than mammograms do, okay? I can't even correlate them in the same process. Does thermography pick up great things? Yes. Does mammography pick up things? Yes. So they both have a certain part. I just think the technology that's out there today when it comes to MRI and ultrasound, which, think about this. All you have to do is ask this. If I get a mammogram, ladies, if you ask this to your doctor, if I get a mammogram, will that give me a definitive answer of what's going on with breast tissue? No. That's the question you ask your doctor. Then why are we doing it? Well, it's a screening tool. You're telling me that you want me to take that much radiation for a fucking screening tool? What fucking fantasy world are you living in that you want to expose me to that much radiation? And somebody wants to correlate radiation of flying in an airplane compared to a mammogram, you have zero idea the difference between what's happening up there and actually what's happening compressing your breast tissue on a mammogram, okay? I love how they try to make it like there's a correlation in the amount of radiation, okay? But that's the thing. With all of the tools out there, that is a very detrimental screening tool. If it was extremely diagnostic and that was my end stage test that I could do, then maybe you could justify that kind of radiation and that kind of screening. But it doesn't. You have to go to something deeper, which is actually less damaging. So why don't you go there? Because they're not going to give up on $1 billion industry. It's all fraudulent. It's fraudulent. It's like they could have gotten rid of that technology a long time ago for the other advancements in technology. And they haven't, because why would they give up billions of dollars? They just put another thing in place. And for your doctors that defend it, they're sheep. They're sheep. They just do what they're told. Don't believe me? Your fucking doctors listen to everybody during COVID. Has any of your doctors said sorry for being a moron during COVID? Honestly, have they? If they took this COVID shot or they haven't apologized, tell them, shut the fuck up, you have zero opinion on shit. Okay, what's next?
Can you talk about taking charcoal if you don't have an appendix?
Like, should they take charcoal? What are they talking about?
Yeah. Should they take charcoal if they don't have an appendix?
I think you just keep all toxic things out of your body and don't worry about charcoal. You know what I'm saying? Stop putting bad stuff in your body. Here, let's do this. Charcoal does not absorb, okay? Charcoal has a very good benefit, it really does. But that's because you're putting crappy stuff in your body. Just go back, you don't have an appendix, you gotta be very, very careful about toxic things. So therefore, stick to clean up your diet and keep things out of there. And yes, could you get food poisoning and something help like charcoal? Absolutely. But if you're having a really good diet, your need for charcoal should be nil to nothing.
Can you have sauerkraut if you have histamine issues?
Well, it depends. Your histamine issues are because your immune system is being triggered by something. So therefore, you can be very sensitive to a lot of stuff until you find the triggers that lead to why the histamine is being overproduced. Because the minute that you trigger your system, there's a response to actually being blood flow and immune cells and other cells to it to react to it. So sauerkraut, you can be allergic to anything. You can be allergic to albizia, which helps with histamine. But it's really more that you have a major high immune response. And I'd say that if you have a very high histamine intolerance, you have something that's constantly triggered, and you're very vitamin D deficient.
sorry, let me
What's that?
word this. Okay. What can I do for premature ovarian failure?
Ooh, you have to send me an email on that one. There's no way I can answer that one on here. That's what I need some other a lot more detail to even give a little bit of advice on that.
All right.
Email me at pflynn@thewellnessway.com. pflynn@thewellnessway.com. Thewellnessway.com.
Is Neo 40 okay for women?
It's okay for anybody. It's just a precursor of getting nitric oxide and stuff on there, just for your mind. Yep.
So I can take some?
You could have some. Yep. Yep. It's actually be quite beneficial.
Okay.
Okay, Amanda. Oh, Amanda's on. Amanda LeBlanc. How's it going, Amanda? I am watching you live and wondering what food is being served at Leadership and Longevity Seminar. I'm considering attending and would love it. Well, here's what happens. We always have a really good protein source. It can range from chicken, can range from beef. Obviously, you know us. At our seminar, we have the best food. We don't allow bad stuff at our seminar. And it's kind of cool. So you would not have to pack your own food. Happy for that question, man. But if you've ever been to any of my events, from my doctor-only events to here at the Wellness Way to anything that way, I do not allow bad food at my events. I pay a lot of money for food because I stay congruent with everything we do. Our drinks, our coffee. I think I spend thousands of dollars for a coffee bar every single time, just for people to have good organic coffee with all the creamers and all the collagen protein powders and stuff like that for everybody that way. I will not skimp on my seminar just because I'm supplying it for 1,000 people. Yep, look at my teams like, dude, we eat like kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So thank you, Amanda, for that message. I would love to see you there. So please go from considering to go buy your ticket and bring 5 friends.
Are there any risks to taking collagen?
There's risks taking anything. Remember, guys, nothing can not go through it. Is there very minimal to risk taking collagen? Sure, there's extremely minimal. But never know how your digestive tract will deal with it that way. And you might be allergic to the chicken, fish, or beef, or whatever is that way that you could react to that way. Is it very common? No. But it can happen. So I said there's a risk to everything. Do I think it's very minimal to very close to zero? Sure. But you never know.
My lips have been really dry lately, and now they burn. They have little white bumps. I've used castor oil, coconut oil, and tallow.
Yep.
It has just started since it's been super cold. I was in the Caribbean for a while, and it was fine until
Yeah,
I
because
got
you're vitamin D deficient. You are vitamin D deficient. Let me say it again. You're vitamin D deficient, and you answered your question when you went to the Caribbean.
What causes acid reflux?
Bad digestion. Most people don't realize that hypochlorhydria is probably one of the major causes. You don't have enough stomach acid, so therefore there's reflux that does happen from that. So make sure that you are taking some betaine hydrochloride and start with there, and then make sure that you clean up your diet. All right, Trini, I apologize. I got a very important phone call at 2 o'clock that I must go, and we went really long today. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys enjoy, and then we will see you tomorrow sometime between noon and 3 based on my busy day. All right, we'll see you guys soon.